This is One on One with Jasper Cole, Hollywood's bad guy, and so much more. Actor, talent manager, producer, and more. Now he's sitting down with today's top newsmakers from entertainment, politics, pop culture, and beyond. This is One on One with Jasper Cole.
Woo-hoo! All right. Howdy, bitches. And welcome to One on One with Jasper Cole. This is Mr. Jasper Cole. We are live at Temple Bay Studios right here in Hollywood, California. And I'm so happy because we are doing another Breaking the News with my favorite person ever who couldn't be here. But we have... But at the last minute, I called Michael Taylor Gray. Hey.
I stretched. I'm 53.
Molly Shannon.
I just had a birthday recently.
You just...
Yeah, I just turned 53.
We didn't miss your birthday.
You certainly did.
When was your birthday?
June 20th.
Why wasn't it on Facebook?
Well, of course it was.
If it's not on Facebook, it doesn't exist.
Well, you know, my birthday is actually the last day of spring, which is not lost on me.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel horrible.
You should.
Excuse my depression.
And what did I say to you when I walked in here? I said, excuse me, I smell like the depression. I've been here working all day, catering, out in the valley.
Which is one of my favorite lines. Everyone used that.
Like the depression.
Excuse my depression.
Mm-hmm.
I've been catering.
It's my new scent.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Well, then I owe you a lot. I owe you a gift. I owe you a dinner. Something.
So much. An opinion.
But nothing's really been happening in politics, so there's not really much to talk about, right?
Can we just start off like really jumping into it? Okay, the latest, the 16th woman's come forward saying that what she really described was a rape.
E.G. Carroll?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about? At Bergdorf's in the dressing room.
Bergdorf Goodman's, yeah, exactly. And his thing is, number one, she's not my type.
Right. He's used that before.
So I'm like, you motherfucker.
Whose type is he?
I'm like, look, when I was molested at 4 years old by my uncle, was I his type? When I was raped at 16 by a high school friend's father, was I his type? I was seething. I mean, literally just foaming at the mouth, more so than usual. And he didn't deny it. The first thing he did not deny it.
No.
He comes right out and says, she's not my type.
And the saddest part is, it's not going to change his supporters at all. However, I do think those educated white female voters that voted for him, the ones that did the first time around, they've had enough of his shit. And especially with this kind of stuff. The whole Me Too movement, that brought a big change. And I mean, his base is his base, and they can stay where they are. And that hasn't changed at all. But you can't win the presidency with that base. But I think those independent voters that we need, especially the women, another sexual person,
or African American.
They're going to decide the race.
Out.
Yeah,
they have to come out, and many of them didn't, and especially like in
they did
like
in
Michigan,
the midterm.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
So if we can keep that midterm enthusiasm going,
well, trust me, he's going to keep pissing us off until.
But I'm concerned about Biden because I'm just here's
he's
my
not
thing.
Going to be the nominee. He's not going to be the nominee.
I know, and so therefore I get more concerned because if he seemed to be and I'm putting this in air quotes. I don't believe this, but if he's the only one that could beat Trump, allegedly,
he's not.
I get concerned because he was asleep at the wheel at the debates. Grandpa didn't know.
You can only claim ignorance of I'm of a time,
right? No.
And then it becomes really evident that you are of a time in the past.
That's lost,
and we don't need it.
No,
you got Kamala Harris who's
just kicked his ass,
shot up the charts to like number 3 now.
Yeah,
you've got Pete Buttigieg who raised $25 million in the second quarter.
Right.
You've got Elizabeth Warren who's got a plan for everything.
She was impressive.
She's got plans.
Right.
You know what I mean? She's got something.
And you still have Bernie Sanders hanging in there.
And Bernie there as well. So we have a plethora of candidates that could build a cabinet around.
I think Julian Castro was fierce and really he stood out.
Well, I'm supporting him.
Well, I like him a lot. Yeah. But he's an example of somebody that over the next year and a half can really surge as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's all over the press, a lot of the shows, a lot of the news shows, programs this evening.
Right.
So you're going to see him more and more.
More and more.
Yeah, and in fact, I watched when he announced that he was running for the presidency. It reminded me a lot of Barack Obama.
Right.
That moment.
People have talked about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And his mother is very impressive.
Well, his brother, his twin, is also. They are identical. They look. Yeah. Well, I was so happy though after both nights that the wonderful quality of people that we have, and I'm talking about Marianne Williamson all the way across the board. There's not one embarrassment in the bunch. Like
what she had said about kidnapping.
Yeah.
About these kids, separating them from their parents, that's kidnapping.
Yeah. I love how she's getting... Well, first of all, I love the fact she was the most Googled person the next day.
Really?
Which is a victory. Whether you thought she was crazy and you Googled her... Marianne's no dummy. We've known Marianne for 30 years, and she knows about her brand. But she's the real deal. And I'm not here to, change people's opinion on Course in Miracles or any of that stuff. But it bothered me when Meghan McCain and a lot of the other people were making fun of her. First of all, she only had 4 minutes of airtime to talk at all. I mean, that fucking setup is so hard to get a question in. But she was right when she said, you can talk about all the policies you want, but Trump didn't. He didn't have any real policies.
No.
And she wasn't saying that's what we need to do again, but she was kind of reminding people that if you're going to beat Trump, you got to also not forget where we came from with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to pay attention to what works. What got him there?
Right.
Okay, and how can we use that to keep him from getting back? How can we use it for our own
We
game?
got to get the central. We got to get Ohio. We got to get those 4 states that we can't let him win the Electoral College again.
I think Michigan is very much in play. I think Pennsylvania is very much in play. I think
Ohio,
Texas. I think Florida. I think Ohio is not. I really don't. And that's my home state. That's where I grew up.
I know.
Something about, I don't know. Something about that state is just entrenched right now. And but he's not brought back the jobs that he's been talking about.
He
These
hasn't
plants
done
like
any
in
of
Lima,
that stuff.
Ohio.
No.
The GM plant that closed
In fact,
down.
they closed another big plant there, right?
The only thing is that I think there's a company that's coming in that's going to be producing maybe an electric vehicle or something there in that GM plant.
Right.
So, but I think overall the state has not benefited from his business.
So I think back to the Biden thing, it seems like what we saw the other night was clearly there's a kink in the armor of Biden. He
always has a kink. If you haven't learned, he's run how many times?
3 times.
This
will be his
fourth time that he's run.
He's lost 3 times.
And there's always that one moment that just kind of goes.
And he has a tendency to always misstep, and then he won't apologize for. I mean, Trump doesn't apologize, but Biden won't apologize in the right way.
Right.
Like he won't totally own the Anita Hill thing. He really hasn't. He's said, "I'm very sorry that this situation happened and you felt this way," but he didn't say, "And I'm sorry that I talked to you the way I did during the hearings," and blah blah. It's the same. He stepped in it yesterday about gay pride, or he was talking about a guy with a lisp, a waiter.
What did he say?
He was giving a talk at a gay pride, something about gay pride, and he grandpa relished, pulled back a story from. It was only 15 years ago. But he said, well, 15 years ago, me, and he named a couple people, we were at a restaurant in Chicago, and the waiter came up to the table and goes, hi, I'm Ricky, and I'm going to take your order.
Hi, I'm Sylvester.
Yeah, and he goes, he had a gay lisp.
What's a gay lisp?
and he goes... Is
that like a brooch?
He goes, and the great thing is that would never, and so people at the table commented on it and made fun of him. And he wanted to let us know that it's so wonderful that we've come so far now that would not be tolerated today. And it's like, well, first of all, 15 years ago wasn't that long ago. And Grandpa, you don't quite know what you're talking about.
So Obama was what? So Trump's been...
So that's 16, 2008.
Yeah, during what, George W.?
No, but he made it sound like it was the 1940s.
Like it was just- yeah.
But again, not just totally like not thinking there's anything wrong with that. So I don't know. It concerns me. Now, the reason I'm
wrong then,
concerned
it's wrong now.
because other than Buttigieg,
Yeah.
everyone that's left is very progressive. Julian, I don't think so as much, right? He's a little more centrist. He's a little more to the middle.
I think so.
Because, my concern is that we cannot have this is my opinion, to win, to beat Trump. I mean, I wish we had the most left wing of all the candidates.
Yeah.
But I think we can't go too far to the left, too far progressive. So we can't look like socialists.
Well, the thing is, Trump said the other day, the Democrats are going to drop the Democratic Party name and just go as the Socialist Party. Like, who the fuck said that? Nobody said that.
Like they dropped the Republican and became the Trump Party. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Right. But I don't think Kamala's not that far to the left. She seems pretty in the middle, or she can pretend to be.
I think she has room to grow.
Right.
I think she definitely has room to grow.
Yeah.
She's a reasonable person. She, as a prosecutor, she's got to look at the,
But
all the facts.
I mean, can you picture? Wouldn't it be amazing to see her with Trump in a debate, and basically she'd be like prosecuting the Mueller report right there with him.
Yeah,
and
she would
he's
stand him like stalking her, like Hillary should have said, "Donald, go back to your corner."
Oh, she will lay him out because we've seen how she's handled people in the Senate hearings, like Barr. Do you remember when she was like she had him on the ropes? And so I do think she can do it. It's just a matter of who's partnered with her as the vice president. Or I think if Biden were to get the nomination, he needs her as the vice president.
Oh,
Biden
definitely.
Harris.
If there is a man that is the nominee
Right.
for the Democratic
She has
Party,
to be the vice president.
there has got to be Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, or one of the other women.
Yeah.
Amy Klobuchar, or no, not so much.
Well, I mean, I'll vote for that water bottle, so it doesn't matter. I'll vote for anybody to beat Trump.
That water bottle?
That one.
Yeah.
We'll get behind whoever. But
we have to.
Of the other women running, Kristen Gillibrand is impressive, but she didn't get to shine at all in the debate. She sort of...
And her big platform would be for women's rights. I mean, women's reproductive rights and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and she's actually really powerful speaker and stuff. So again, this format of the way we've had to, because of all the candidates, it doesn't lend itself really to getting to see who everyone is. So I guess as it sort of winds down, has anyone officially dropped out yet? I don't think so.
No.
Since last week.
Well, I think once the second quarter numbers come out for everybody,
right,
that's going to start.
That's going to change.
Yeah, and then have they announced the second debates are going to be
July, right? Next. Well, it is July. Oh my God, this month. What I think at the end, maybe. So we'll see who gets. And is the criteria the same? I mean,
it's got to be.
Yeah. So I guess apparently there were two candidates who. I don't know who they are, but who didn't make the debates. There are two others.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
But what about De Blasio? What did you think of him?
Well, again, you barely remember him because he didn't really get that much. He had a line about he had a couple of good lines. The one guy I was sort of impressed with was the governor of Washington, Inslee. He had the line about our biggest threat right now is Trump. Yeah, he was kind of impressive. I don't know him. I don't know enough. I haven't seen enough. I don't think he's done like a CNN profile or town hall or any of that. I mean, they decide who they're going to profile.
Yeah.
Marianne Williamson did a CNN town hall, so.
Yeah, well, Pete's done one on Fox. Handful of them have done it on Fox, which I think is
Pete's gone to Fox.
Very smart.
Yeah.
So
Elizabeth Warren won't go to Fox. She's the one.
Bernie did, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, she won't go because she doesn't want the advertisers to make money off of her. She doesn't want to give any money to Fox News. And she says, I think it's kind of weak. I think you need to go on the other side the same way
can't control
they come on to
everything.
CNN.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
the only way you can reach them is to go to their neighborhood.
And those independents and the ones that are disgruntled with Trump, they're watching Fox News still. That's where we need Buttigieg and Warren to go to.
Yeah.
To let them see her. Because honestly, I don't watch Fox News, but every time I do flip over to Fox News, I see something like either a pundit that I hadn't seen for years, and I thought, oh, there's where you are now. You're at Fox News, or there'll be a politician on, because I like to see how they treat the Democrat politicians who do go on Fox News, to see how it is. Because I think
Pete fared very well, but I think he's very smart.
So impressed,
and
with
he's
him.
proven. I mean, he had some missteps. He had that real big. That awful situation in his city.
It's still going on.
Yeah, where that cop
black.
Exactly.
But, he polled right now 0 with black voters, which is fascinating to me.
Still?
Yeah, 0. This is one poll on CNN.
Yeah.
But, and Biden, I guess, is riding off of the Obama supporters. I think a lot of that is older African Americans that
those are people who vote.
were allegiant to Obama.
Yeah.
Younger voters now who don't really have an allegiance to Obama don't have the Biden connection.
Right.
I'm just still fascinated that Bernie Sanders still has a lot of the younger Brandon, who's a producer here, who's in his 20s. We were talking about a lot of his friends still support Bernie.
It's because he has been consistently progressive.
Yeah.
His entire political career.
He didn't suddenly just become that way.
No, I mean, I've been listening to him, they had like Brunch with Bernie or whatever. It was on Tom Hartman or something.
Right.
I've listened to Progressive Talk Radio for years.
Yeah.
And he was very much a presence, and that's how I got to know who he was.
So you got to know him, yeah.
And then, so this, I'm not surprised. And some of the people I work with in catering, a lot of them are, young actors or writers and editors and producers and whatnot in their 20s.
They're all
and they're like,
him.
oh my God, they're like the Green Deal and all that. They're very much, the AOC.
AOC, right, right.
Yeah, so they're big Bernie
and the thing is, like I said, like personally, I am totally like so far to the left. Like I'm there. I want AOC and Bernie. I just don't know if Bernie can win against Trump. Now, Bernie supporters swear from last time that, because you don't want to get into it with the true Bernie people. They'll take you down. They, I also think a lot of them helped bring Trump into office because I don't think they voted, and they didn't vote for.
Well, apathy is not a choice.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Bernie supporters I know they chose not to vote.
Yeah,
or they voted for they wrote Bernie in or something. So. But I worry too that Sanders and Warren, they basically have a lot of the same supporters. To me, it's almost like Warren has taken Sanders' policies and message and sort of presented it in a better package without the finger wagging rabbi yelling. There was
a young lady, she was. A regular, let's say she's like a bartender type individual, whatever, just a regular, everyday blue collar type worker. And her comment to the pundit or whoever was the reporter was that Elizabeth Warren, she felt like she was talking to me. I said, yes, there you go.
That's the key.
That's the key.
That's the personal thing.
That's what Bill Clinton did.
Somehow that's what Trump supporters think he did.
Yeah.
But I mean,
he speaks his mind.
Whereas Bernie seems to be, and for me, he seems to be talking at people. But they loved the message.
Yeah.
And now Elizabeth's been able to take the same message, basically.
Yeah.
The same message, but personalize it and make it feel like you said they're talking with them.
Because we have to avoid the John Kerry moments.
Yes.
Where we get nuanced.
Or Mitt Romney.
And, oh my God. Yeah. Were you talking
I always
over
said that
people?
they were the same. I thought John Kerry and Mitt were the same, but on two different parties. You know, like robotic.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And just
no
not
interaction. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful. I am hopeful. Yeah. I'm pleased with the candidates we have, and especially the way the top 5 or 6 seem to be. But were you a Beto O'Rourke fan?
I was very much interested in what was happening there in Texas.
Texas with the Cruz,
that's a
all that.
major deal.
He almost
that
won.
State is becoming very much purple.
It's kind of like Georgia.
Yeah.
With the whole Stacey Abrams. They had a similar thing happening with Beto and Cruz.
And the thing is, there's something about him that there's like some substance there that tends to be specifics and things like that. And I mean, I can get all into the emotional part of it, and I get that. And inspiring people is great, but
Right.
what's
underneath it?
What's the meat in that?
He has a very Kennedy-esque look, Beto does. Although he looked like he had been embalmed the other night. I mean, this is back to like the showbiz part.
Yeah.
I was watching it with a bunch of, actually one industry person.
Yeah.
But we were, the producer in me is always aware of what people see, like visually, and Beto had this really embalmed white makeup. So he looked really kind of sickly. And Kamala looked stunning. And
Kamala, dear.
Kamala, yeah. And Booker had like the orange makeup that didn't get blended in really well on his nose. And so,
what do you think of him?
I don't think he's authentic. I mean, in his own, I know some stuff personally about him
that can be his Achilles heel.
It's not. If he would have just been his real self, I think Buttigieg has sort of usurped him, or sort of taken over. But I think Booker is impressive looking, and he's saying all the right things. But there's not a authenticity there for me.
Yeah, I don't think he has enough legitimate self-confidence to really,
right.
And then there's something really, which is the opposite of somebody like who looks kind of meek and mild, Mr. Pete Buttigieg, Mayor Pete. He looks just like, but he'd be the one that would be like maybe a little timid,
but no,
man,
he's
so
just
calm
seems
and cool and collected, but in a very,
he seems unaffected by the whole thing.
Yeah,
I mean, he's so powerful on so many levels. So no matter what happens, like where he places or whatever, he's on the scene in a major.
Yeah. He's changed things. I mean, for us, from the LGBTQIA,
ZPR, WZ,
MOUSC crowd. Yeah, I mean, he's really given us, for the first time in our lives, somebody that could legitimately hold a national office.
And him being gay is the least interesting part of him.
It's becoming less and less, an interesting topic.
Yeah. I mean, we're
really
talking about like picturing like the first man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because when Hillary was going to be running, it was like, what were you going to call? What do you call the husband?
The first gentleman.
The first gentleman, and now it would be the same thing. Just happens to be a gay couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in when I listen to more conservative radio right now, talk radio, a lot of the people that in the Midwest that I think, first of all, people get painted with the wrong brush. Not everybody's homophobic.
No,
in the South,
not everybody in the Christian community or the church community is homophobic.
Exactly. So Pete, what I loved also about Pete is he took that whole evangelical Christian thing and turned it on them.
And so the Republicans can no longer own that.
You don't own that.
No.
I'm gay and I'm also a Christian.
Yeah.
And so that sort of...
If you have a problem with me, you have a problem with my God.
See.
I was like,
Preach.
Jesus is going, Yeah. So,
yeah.
No,
so that's impressive.
And he does it in a way that doesn't sound like defensive.
Mm-mm.
It's very much, I'm confident with this is where I'm coming from. I'm hearing what you're saying. And this is how I'm going to respond to it in kind.
Right.
Without tearing you down.
Right. And the way he handled the questions about what's the thing that's happening in his city.
In South Bend.
When he said, I dropped the ball.
He admitted he was wrong. And he apologized.
I'm working on that. I'm trying to make it right.
Yeah, he left South Carolina during all that stuff that was going on there, which was very important for press and things like that to really build his campaign. He left.
And went back
home and took care of business.
And then they showed him, I think, Sunday he was at a church event, predominantly African American, and the minister was basically really giving it to him about, what he should have done and what he didn't do right. And but he's here now to repent and whatever. And I thought, God bless him. He was sitting there, taking it.
Yeah, and he mentioned, I've heard his little clip of him a short while ago before I came in, that trust takes time.
Yeah,
he realizes that those who are not of the African American community, and you're meeting me for the first
Right.
time and getting to know me. It takes time.
Right.
I don't expect you to trust me right from the start. You
No,
can't.
no. The same way Obama earned trust with a lot of non-African American people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, not that not that we were worried about them, but he did. He won over. I think Obama won over a lot of racists in the beginning. A lot of other racists came out from underneath the ground, but I have friends and family who thought they would never vote for a black president, and they did
Yeah.
because they started. They didn't see the color anymore. Just like I'm thinking with Pete, people aren't seeing the sexuality. That's not the problem.
Well, it's incorporated into who he is.
Right.
It's not the number one factor that you know. It's like there's some stamp on him.
Right.
You know. So,
But do you worry at all, like I do, about visually if Pete were the nominee up against Trump, like in a visual debate? Because Trump is a massive, tall person. I go back to the visuals because I'm trying to. I have to think about a lot of the idiots that are voting.
yeah.
And I'm sorry, they are idiots that vote. A lot of people are idiots. I'm sorry. But they are looking at this like, who's going to win in the wrestling match? You know, is Pete going to look small and little and weak?
Don't forget, he is a war veteran, Afghanistan.
Right.
You know, a Rhodes Scholar, a mayor.
Is he going to wear his uniform?
He's got some intellect. You know, he doesn't have to.
I know, but
it's the whole David and Goliath thing.
Yeah.
You know, I like that. I like that there will be that image if it perhaps.
well,
the two of
especially
them.
if Trump blows up, does his blustering and his
Right.
bullying, then he will look a lot.
He'll look like the Bumble
He'll look
from
like the
Rudolph
that he is.
Just like
yeah.
yeah.
Whereas Hillary, she didn't know how to deal. She didn't know how to deal with it
no,
She didn't.
She should have just confronted it.
head on.
You know, and dealt with it right away instead of ignoring it. If I
And
ignore it, it'll
when
go
you
away.
hit back on bullies, they're very like they
Right.
recoil. Like that's why Nancy Pelosi knows how to do the patronizing.
And she didn't even intend it to
No.
be that way. But-
So, I mean, his parents, his mom must have done such a number on him,
Right?
and his dad.
Oh, and his sisters.
The sister
The
that
judge.
suddenly resigned from the courts right before I left to come here, the Attorney General of New York was being interviewed by Anderson Cooper. She's the African American
Right.
lady, and who they're
She's
definitely
digging up all the dirt on the Trump
charity.
charity, my ass.
And she was saying tonight before I came here that since 1989 they've had this charity.
Yeah.
They're so arrogant in their corruption. They didn't even bother to try to pretend to hold meetings or try to make it look like it was a real, like, you know what I mean? They didn't even try to fake
Weren't
it.
there people like on their board who didn't know they were on their board?
They didn't have a clue. There's no minutes of meetings. There's no, and she was just reminding people that she's an elected official. She was not appointed or whatever, so.
Right.
Yeah. She's elected by the people to do her job. And because Trump did a nasty tweet about her. He tweeted about her either this morning or yesterday and brought her name into the conversation as if to say she's part of the plan, like she's a plant by the Democrats.
Oh, he's got to do it. Just like, Donald Jr., Fredo, had to, tweet a racist comment about Kamala and then delete it.
But then did you hear he literally tried to act like
Oops.
he was making a legitimate question. Oh, I didn't know she was biracial.
Is
Is
she
she
really
really black? I thought she really was. I don't know. The birtherism thing.
Yeah.
She's black and Indian, right?
She's Jamaican.
Jamaican and Indian. Her mom is Indian, or
I don't know which parent.
because I've never
to look
seen
it
the
up. Yeah.
parents. But that was a great line when she said about the busing situation to Biden.
I was that little girl.
But see, there was another example where Biden had an opportunity right there to say, I am so sorry. I had no idea that at that time, though, this is the information I had and this is what we did. But I'm deeply sorry that but he can't do it.
Yeah. And the whole thing, why were we talking about, Biden when, Trump was making some other racist remarks that nobody pointed out.
Right.
So it's like, we can't, this whole thing of Democrats eating their own. I mean, come on, people.
I know.
We have to play it smarter.
Cory Booker tried it. Cory first started it a couple weeks back, remember? And that sort of gave Cory a little attention, and then
But Kamala did the best of pointing it out white. She says, I take it personally. Here you're going to hold up these segregationists, these congressmen who made their careers on segregating the races here in America, of keeping blacks and whites separate. And that was their main purpose for being in politics.
Right.
I don't care if you were civil with them.
Right.
That's not the point.
Yeah. It's
you
true.
know, you have to say that these were awful people.
Right.
And I had to work with them. But the point is, they should never have been a congressman. They should never have been a representative in our Congress
ever. Right. Well, it'll be interesting, but you're right. I mean, other than the Biden, Kamala, what happened, they've been pretty good about not going after each other, the candidates within the Democrat Party. Because, I mean, even after that, when Junior sent that tweet out, all the candidates rushed to her defense, which was what they should do.
It's what we do. I mean, the Republicans, as far as a group, a block of voters, they you got to give them credit, man.
Oh,
they
stay on point
together.
Look,
and so
they
as
got
proud
behind,
as we are about our diversity, we need to be united. Like what you said, you'd vote for a water bottle if
everybody got behind this bottle. But I think too, what we have to be careful, is there is an impression from the other side that we're so elitist, that the Democrats are making fun of the Trump voters.
And don't do that. Yes.
Making fun of, because Meghan McCain is really great about this on The View. She'll say, I hate Trump. I'm not here to talk about it. I'm here to explain to you people, Joy and other people, you want to win the White House, you can't alienate because there is a chunk of people that are right on the fence, and they could go away from Trump.
Yeah, if I call you an idiot, you're not going to listen.
Right. Like I just called voters an idiot earlier, but I wasn't saying which side. I meant in general, a lot of people are uninformed and they get to vote. I mean, what if we had to take how you have to take a citizenship test? What if we had to take a test to vote? In other words, there was I probably wouldn't pass either. But if there was literally some sort of test, a general knowledge test that you had to take in order to get your right that day to vote.
But in conjunction with that, why isn't that National Election Day? Why isn't that a holiday? Why everybody should be off, and it should be all about the vote that day,
That's true.
Getting to the polls? Why isn't that? We should make that a priority.
Has that ever been? Has that been a bill that's ever been presented and
I don't know.
it wasn't passed,
I don't know, but it should be. You can if Democrats get back in power in the Senate, as well as holding on to the House.
That should be one of the first
things. And we have
things.
a Democrat in the White House. That has to happen.
Well, I think we talked about this before. One of the greatest things that happened with the Trump presidency is we now see all these loopholes that were never written in stone, never were a law. Like all the things that I just assumed a president couldn't do, like that he has done, like not really having to give your taxes. There's certain things that should be literally a law.
Yeah.
Like you do not run if you don't give your taxes.
I think that has been discussed.
You do turn in all business things. Right now he's skirted around. And even
his hotel there in Washington, D.C. Come on.
Oh, my God.
How many, Russians, Chinese, Saudi Arabians have...
Everybody.
Yeah.
It's true.
And that money goes right to, Ivanka's shoe collection?
Did you see the clip where Ivanka tried to get in on the conversation with the British Prime Minister? There were 4 women leaders at this.
Was that the G20?
Yes. And so you got to Google it later because, they're standing there talking.
Yeah.
And then you see Ivanka comes up and it's like
clickety-clack, clickety-clack, clickety-clack.
Like, and she comes over and she tries to interject something into their conversation, and you kind of see them look like, why is she talking to us?
Yeah.
And it was something about women in business or whatever, and whatever she said made no sense at all. So there's just an example of there should be a law. Your kids cannot be in the cabinet.
Wasn't there nepotism law?
I mean, I thought when John F. Kennedy, when
Yeah.
the Robert Kennedy, John F. Kennedy thing, after he was the Attorney General, and
Right.
I thought they passed a law, but I guess it was never a law. It was just kind of frowned upon. If I hear that expression one more time since Trump's been in office, well, it was just always frowned upon to do blah, blah, blah. Well, everything that's frowned upon, Trump is doing.
Oh, yeah. Well, now he's going to turn the 4th of July into, North Korea, China, and Soviet Union all at once. He wants tanks and crap. He wants to. So not only is that offensive to me, for one.
Totally.
Because it makes us look like this, like
He's a king.
dictator.
He's a dictator.
And it takes all the 4th of July celebration
The whole
away.
meaning of what it is.
That and the military people who have to be in charge of all that equipment and whatnot, then they don't get to spend time with their own families and enjoy. It's not a political event.
No.
The 4th of July.
No. It's a celebration.
Yeah, of our country, of our independence.
Not of our president.
It's got nothing to do with party.
No. What did you think of him stepping over into North Korea with?
Another bullshit moment.
Right.
It's legitimizing this tyrant.
Right.
Who's
just
says,
making-
you look
who-
healthy. You look good, Kim Jong-il, when his people are starving.
Starving.
That fat fuck. Of course he looks healthy. He never misses a meal.
And neither does Kim Jong.
No, exactly. Yeah, neither does Kim Jong-il. But it's just, it makes you sick.
I know.
It makes you sick that he's going to step over. It would be my honor. Well, that last summit or whatever fell apart. And I'm sure all the people that he fired, Kim Jong-il fired.
They're all dead.
You probably don't have
And
seen
what about
again.
him making the joke with Putin about don't
Oh.
meddle in our elections anymore? I mean, this is
As if it's a joke.
I mean, it's just become almost like we've accepted it now. Like this is who he is.
No.
This is how, and that can't happen. So we're now less than a year and a half away. We're optimistic.
So if we're not going to impeach him, obviously it's going to go to the election.
It's got to. He's not going to get impeached.
Which is
I
beyond
wish
me.
they would still start the impeachment process. It's almost like the Mueller thing, as I'm forgetting now, but that's coming up, on the 17th? July 17th? Mueller's, he's testifying.
He's going to speak?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He's testifying
Okay.
before Congress.
He's breaking news with me. I love it.
You didn't know? Yeah. He's agreed to finally come forward. Well, he got subpoenaed.
Well, they should-
He didn't have a choice. He got subpoenaed.
Well, he could say no.
No, but he's showing that
but he would do it.
he's a private citizen.
Well, what they need to do is literally have him walk through and read it to us.
Well, he's claiming that he's not going to really say much because it's in the report. But there's a lot of questions that they want to ask him, like, why didn't you interview Trump? There are a lot of things that they can get. I mean, the Republicans are just going to use it as a way to shore up the fact that you've already stated it. It's here. Barr has agreed on it. Now the Democrats have a chance to, tear him down and say,
Yeah.
what did you really think of Barr's explanation? That kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how much he actually says, but he is actually sitting down on the 17th. I think it's the 17th.
Good.
Yeah.
Because there's anything that's going to scare Donald is a good television moment.
Well, and he's
Good
doing
TV.
it live. He's doing it in the front of the public, not closed doors.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm always a little bit
Picks.
I'm always a little leery. He kind of fucked us a little bit on the Mueller report already. He didn't come through fully. He could always sit there and make Trump, not be as forthcoming. Kind of what he did.
You have to be bold. We can't be mamby-pamby people.
Right.
And
But
Bob
he is a
Mueller-
Republican,
Yes, but, he's taken his job seriously.
Yeah.
But he's towing that line a little too much.
Yeah,
for
no,
me.
I'm
So
over
this
him.
is his chance.
I think
to-
he fucked us over by punting the ball and not saying there was, corruption.
punting it to a Congress that is literally,
Torn with Nancy Pelosi and
that and, Mitch McConnell, who's the devil incarnate.
yeah, punting it to a Congress that it's not going to pass the Senate. So what's the point?
Can't.
So in a way, Mueller, you were our hope.
Yeah.
If you didn't claim that he broke the law, there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't give hints.
Or you can't put
give hints.
henna in your hair either because it's not a good look for anybody.
It's not. It's not.
Well, the time has gone.
They can't.
But I
you
think we
can't
covered a lot of good stuff. So what's our summation of today, where we are right now?
Well,
With the
I have
campaign?
noticed a friend of mine just the other day has stopped listening to the news altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that.
Right.
I understand that, but we cannot do that.
But we all would love to do that.
You got to find a balance in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find, something that just makes you give you the shits and giggles kind of thing moment. Find something that really makes you laugh and makes you happy.
Right.
And cling to that and and have that as a continual daily part of your life.
Right.
We cannot forget to laugh.
But apathy is not
But apathy is
now
not,
is not the time.
Pulling away altogether is not paying attention, because I get it.
Yeah.
So pay attention because Donald Trump is trying anything and everything he can to whittle away our democracy and turn the presidency into a dictatorship.
And
He
my
would
last
love
thought
nothing more than
is
that.
I wish the fake news, as he calls them, I wish CNN and MSNBC would not cover his campaign. I wish they would do a blackout on Trump, just cover the Democrats, let Fox News cover him. This is not going to happen. But at least pull back as much. I don't want them to oversaturate Trump's coverage. Really, there's no need to. He proved at that rally in Orlando he has no new messages. He has no new policies. So giving him so much coverage we're not going to hear anything new from him. Let's focus on the Democrats right now trying to get a nominee. And then when we get the nominee, put more attention on them than they do on Trump.
Yeah, just give it like a Saturday Night Live spin. Say Donald Trump was offensive again today, and in other news,
And
just move on.
because he calls them fake news, he calls them the enemy, but he wants their attention. Let's not give him the attention and see what happens.
He'll implode.
He'll implode. And on that note, Michael, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
It's been another Breaking the News.
Right.
And,
we're breaking it right and left and center.
And until next time, everybody, we will continue. Peace out. Bye.
Thanks for checking out One-on-One with Jasper Cole. Check out past episodes and get the latest as they're released. Subscribe today on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube.